Stay home, she said. My ex will be there. It'll be awkward. That's not a request. That's a leash. I hang up. The room goes quiet, like a manhole cover slamming shut. One email waits. Annual celebration. Welcoming our new regional director. My name. Guest of honor. Her new boss. She wants me invisible tonight. I'll be center stage. Black suit. Cold mind. No love talk. No drama. Just truth. 4 months ago, her ex joined her team. New perfume, late nights, locked rooms. I saw enough. She asked for awkward. I'll give her silence sharper than shouting. If you've ever swallowed that kind of pride, stick around, subscribe, and watch how a quiet man ends a loud lie. She changed her perfume. Not loud, citrus, eager, like youth rehearsing confidence. Her hours drifted late. Client decks, last-minute edits, phrases built to end a conversation. Lunches went unannounced. An empty plate, a rinsed glass, small evidence that expands in your chest. She stopped baby, started Merrick, like moving me from the top drawer to storage, and when I spoke, her eyes glanced off me, polite, evasive, already gone. I told myself marriages flex, people grow, but growth doesn't hide. Growth doesn't smell like someone else on your wife's skin. One night, the cap sat loose on a new bottle. Frosted glass, narrow neck. I lifted it. The scent rose clean and bright, no trace of me in it, the way a borrowed jacket keeps another man's weather. I held it a second too long, then set it back at the exact angle she left it. Perfect bottle, perfect story. That's when the learning began. Not rage, not pleading. Learning what she wears when she leaves. Which rooms go unavailable without invites. And here's the thing about learning. It has a timer. I didn't confront. I started a clock. Tick. Tomorrow I'll need quiet and a plan. At 48, divorces pile up like cardboard in the alley. Flattened, taped, marked fragile. Kids grow, houses stretch, rooms keep your shape like memory foam. You don't hear echoes, you hear absence. I used to think manhood was volume, fixing, arguing, proving. Turns out it's subtraction. You take away what lies and see what stands. Chicago after 10 is a low engine, the L clattering far off, tires combing wet streets, a siren fading to a line. I stood in the living room and listened to the refrigerator breathe. No keys in the bowl, no laughter in the drywall. My tongue kept going to the empty socket where us used to be. Friends say, talk, fight, it'll pass. But you learn the difference between a slump and a structure failure. Slumps rebound. Failures fall slowly, then all at once. I walked to the lamp and killed it. Darkness arrived like an honest witness. There's mercy in that. No performance, no excuses. Just the outline of what you refuse to see. My eyes adjusted. The city drew itself in blue lines across the floor. I sat, let the quiet harden into a backbone. Then I opened the laptop. New tab, cursor blinking in a small, bright dare. If this is a teardown, let's measure the cracks. I typed his name, Evan Hart. LinkedIn loads clean, corporate blue, a crisp headshot, neat fade, safe smile, navy blazer. The kind of picture you take when you want to be trusted. Header, Northbridge Communications. Scroll. There it is. Joined 4 months ago. 4, not 3. Not recently. Not I mentioned it. 4. Activity shows marketing posts. Brand wins I've heard Sloan repeat at dinner like they were company folklore. I click people. Org thumbnails stack like tiles. Marketing, Chicago. I see Sloan's photo. I see Evan's. I click our internal portal, cross-check the floor plan. 2 desks apart, same pod, same calendar blocks labeled collab. This is OSINT anyone can do. A husband with Wi-Fi. But it cuts just the same. The page becomes a mirror of things I didn't want to name. New perfume, late nights, that bottle with the cap askew. I stare at the line joined 4 months ago until the words go flat. Then I refresh, like the truth might change if I'm polite enough. It doesn't. I close the tab and feel the room tilt a degree. Not a fall, just a lean you can't ignore anymore. I need to hear her say something honest. Anything. In the morning, I'll ask about the event, the promotion, the seating, the story she's building, and I'll listen for the part she avoids. At breakfast, she's bright, fast, already somewhere else. Tonight matters, she says. This promotion changes my lane. I need to be in those rooms. I get it, I say. Be seen. She nods. And not as somebody's wife, as me, my numbers, my ideas. I can respect that. I've hired women who outran every guy in the room. This isn't about capability, it's about drift. Networking? I ask. Of course, she says. That's the game. Don't make it weird. There's a line here and we both feel it even if we don't touch it. Evan works your side? I keep my voice neutral. Sometimes. He's useful. Don't be suspicious. Don't be... She exhales. Please don't be that husband. She cuts her toast and doesn't look up. Then she says it. Don't be someone's husband at my night. It lands like a clean blade. Not loud. Precise. The feminism I believe in lifts people. The version she's preaching today erases me to make room. Okay, I say. I won't be someone's husband tonight. She smiles, relieved, misreading the sentence. Because I mean every word, just not the way she thinks. Recognition is a currency. Respect is a boundary. If those two can't live together, something breaks. Tonight will decide what. Some marriages turn into brands. You polish the logo on holidays, post the highlight reel, manage the comments. Feelings become KPIs, consistency, engagement, retention. You smile when the numbers look good. You adjust when they don't. Our house learned that language. Slack pings replaced soft questions. A heart emoji means later. A thumbs up means drop it. Lunch is work. Dinner is reviews. Nights stretch under the banner of deck needs another pass. She'd text a shot of a salad and write fuel like love is a project plan. I'd answer with a check mark, playing my part. Supportive, unfussy, hands off. Then one night my phone lights up on the counter. Not hers. Mine. The family iPad is signed into her Slack. A small banner slides in, harmless as a weather update. Evan, you free? Third floor CONF RM. No emoji, no timestamp games, just naked convenience. I stare at those words until the screen dims, then wake it, then let it die again, like I'm testing how real they are. They stay real. You tell yourself it could be work, collaboration, last-minute polish. But we both know what unavailable rooms mean after 9 o'clock. I don't storm. I don't call. I let the message sit in the dark like a lit match. It doesn't burn the house down. It just marks the spot where the fire will start. I pocket the iPad and sleep thin. Morning will need a clear head. I'm at Starbucks when the doors open. Pike Place, black, no room for comfort. A napkin, a pen, the kind of list a man writes when he's done pretending. Left column, Sloane's late nights, dates. Review deck. Right column, Evan's activity, posts, likes. Great push tonight, team. I cross-check calendar invites I can see, the building's public events, the nights the office lights burn past 10. Dots start lining up like runway lights. Thursday, client rehearsal. Evan celebrates a win. Monday, deck polish. Evan tags her team, after hours heroes. Last Friday's traffic issue, his post at 10:58. Third floor warriors. My heart doesn't race. It settles lower, heavier, the way a safe drops through a floor you thought was solid. I add one more row. The Slack pop-up, third floor conf RM. Circle it. Draw a box around the dates that match. The shape that forms is tight, almost pretty, like a noose is pretty if you only admire the knot. I'm not collecting pain. I'm building proof I don't need to shout. Men my age don't win by volume. We win by clarity. I snap a photo of the napkin and fold it twice. The clock is built now. It doesn't ask for permission to tick. I toss the cup, stand, and feel the plan settle into place. Clean, cold. Tonight she'll dress for recognition. I'll dress for truth. She steps out in a black dress that doesn't belong to office lighting. Clean lines, low enough to ask questions, tight enough to answer them. Big night, she says. I need to impress leadership. Her eyes don't land on me. They graze past, searching for a mirror. The new perfume is awake before she is. Bright, eager, not mine. I nod like a man measuring lumber. No judgment, just inches. She adjusts a strap, watches her own hands. Don't be weird tonight, okay? It's important I'm seen for what I do. I get it, I say. She keeps talking. Numbers, projects, the room she needs to be in, the people who will be there briefly before breaking out. Every sentence is a small door she closes behind her. I move closer, not enough to touch. Do what you need. My voice doesn't shake. It doesn't ask. It files. Something in her shoulders loosens, like she's slipped through a checkpoint. Thank you, she says, already halfway gone in her head. I hold her look long enough to make her blink, then step aside. If recognition is the altar, she's dressed for worship. Me? I've brought a different scripture. She leaves the room, heels neat, perfume trailing. The silence after is a straight line. I follow it to my phone. There's one fact I want from someone who has no reason to lie. I find the company number and press call. Northbridge Communications, how may I direct your call? The receptionist sounds rested, patient, immune to drama. Marketing, I say. I'm confirming tonight's schedule, the review session before the event. What time should my wife's team be there? A brief hold, small piano loop, the kind of music that fills gaps without admitting they exist. Thanks for waiting, she returns. All marketing prep wrapped Monday. Tonight's just the celebration. Doors at 7, no internal reviews scheduled. Just the celebration. Got it, I say. Appreciate the clarity. Happy to help. I end the call and stare at the screen like the truth might fade if I don't keep a hand on it. It doesn't. It sits there, simple as drywall. She said, review. The building says party. She said work. The calendar says show. I think of the black dress, the perfume with no history, the third-floor rooms that don't show on invites. The facts don't shout. They click, clean, final, like a deadbolt turning. I don't rehearse speeches. I don't draft accusations. I let the lie break on its own weight, the way rotten wood gives under a steady step. A smile finds me. Not joy, not victory. Recognition. We're past suspicion. We're in evidence. I set the phone down, pull the suit I keep for clear days, and smooth the shoulders. If tonight is just a celebration, I'll celebrate exactly what's real. And I know where I'll be standing when the room finds out. I knot the navy tie slow, square, and steady. Shoes polished to a clean shine. Black you can measure yourself in. Wallet, phone, keys. Valet tag for the Hyatt in my jacket pocket like a quiet promise. The mirror throws me back a version of myself I remember liking. Rested eyes, trimmed beard, a mouth that doesn't need to prove anything. I try on a smile. Not friendly, not cruel. Professional. Like a door that opens only when it should. Behind it the file is complete. Perfume, Slack, third-floor rooms, the receptionist's calm voice. No speeches needed. There's an old joke about marriage being home. I look past my shoulder at the house. Frames, a lamp, the predictable couch. Then I look into my own eyes and say it out loud. Tonight, I'm still at home. Not her home. Not our home. My home. Discipline, composure, the rules I keep whether anyone's watching or not. I straighten the jacket. Fingers brush the valet tag. The city waits like a test I already studied for. I turn off the bathroom light and the mirror goes dark first, then me. Keys. Door. Night air with a bite. This isn't courage, it's clarity moving its feet. I lock up, pocket the key, and head for the car. If I'm staying home, I'll start by parking in her lobby. Chandeliers throw warm circles onto thick carpet that hushes every step. A jazz trio leans into something soft and expensive. Smiles everywhere. Front desk, bellman, a waiter balancing flutes of champagne like promises. The air smells like linen and citrus and rooms that clean themselves. "Good evening, sir." The valet tucks my ticket away like we share a secret. I nod, move deeper into the light. It's the kind that flatters everyone but the truth. A signboard stands near the ballroom doors. Northbridge Annual Celebration. Under it, a seating chart in neat columns. I scan the panes of glass, the typed names, the careful rows of status. Then I see it. Executive table, Merrick Cole. No trick of font, no placeholder. Ink and certainty. My name is printed where the room will look when it wants direction. I let the moment settle. The carpet, the music, the smiles, they all keep performing. But that one rectangle of paper is the only honest thing in here. It says what I already know. I don't need to raise my voice to change a night. "Welcome in," someone says, holding the door. I glance once toward the far tables, the side where marketing always sits, where perfume travels faster than gossip. I step through the doorway and feel the temperature shift. Let them toast whatever story they rehearsed. I've brought a different script, and my seat is waiting. "Raymond Cutter," he says, voice like a firm line. We shake, dry, deliberate, two people who both understand weight. "Welcome, Merrick." His eyes measure and approve. He gestures toward the head table, clean linen, name placards, a clear view of the room. "You're here." "I am," I say. Standard phrasing, standard smile, no heat, no nerves. He leans a touch closer. "Great energy tonight, right people in the room." Translation: control the edges, keep the center bright. I nod. I've done this dance in other cities with other logos. He lowers his voice. "We'll introduce you shortly." There it is. The tick. Not a threat, a schedule. I feel the gears catch. The music, the servers, the speeches, the moment. A countdown you can hear if you know what to listen for. He pats my elbow once, then releases. "Enjoy, mingle, then we'll light the fuse." "I'll be ready," I say. And I am. The file's closed. The suit fits. The story will tell itself when the time lands. As he moves off to greet another name tag, I let my eyes sweep the room. Left, right, the soft angles where people forget they're visible. I'm not hunting. I'm confirming. Timer's set. Before it rings, I want one picture burned into memory. How she acts when she thinks I'm not in the building. I turn to the left side, where marketing always builds camp. And I see her. Sloane tilts her head back and laughs. Open throat, full teeth, the kind that throws a rope to whoever's listening. Evan leans in, ear angled, like her voice is a secret he's earned. A hand passes behind her chair, brushes the small of her back. It's quick, anonymous, the way a used habit learns to hide. She doesn't flinch. She recalibrates, 2 inches closer, shoulders turned, a private semicircle inside a public table. No one's misbehaving if you film this with the sound off. But bodies speak plain. Her foot finds balance toward him. His knee points home. Their smiles reset to each other after every interruption, like magnets shaking off a table's bumps. I take the room in slivers, the colleague on her left pretending to text, the manager across the table smiling at nothing. The way Sloane's gaze returns to Evan's mouth when he talks, not his eyes. Listening for a promise, not a plan. There's a moment you can't fake. Someone else tells a joke, the table laughs, and they both check each other first. Did you get it? Are we still synced? They are. That's the picture I wanted. Not scandal. Pattern. I let the hurt pass through without tearing anything important. File it. Smooth the surface. Because the countdown's still running, and when a room flips from casual to ceremony, everything sharpens. A bell chime stirs the air. The lights nudge warmer. Somewhere near the stage, a mic clears. Showtime is walking this way. HR finds me first. Warm handshake, practiced welcome, quick line about culture and care. I answer easy, the way you do when you know how these nights work. Finance steps in, numbers, margin, great to have you on board. Sales follows, pipeline talk, travel, Q3 optimism. I give each of them the right shape of smile, the right 5 words. But my eyes keep drifting left, to marketing, where laughter keeps landing in the same 2 faces. A server touches my elbow. A wine glass appears. Cool stem, good pour. I hold it steady until I don't. The surface shivers, just a hair. You'd miss it unless you were me. Under the jazz and clinking forks, there's another soundtrack. The human drum. Mine. Subtle, insistent, an engine under the hood you can't quite tune out. While I nod through a joke from sales, Sloane does something small and honest. She checks the exit. Not the stage, not the bar, the door. A glance that draws a map in the air. If this gets messy, that's the way out. Evan reads it without looking. His shoulders shift, casual on purpose. 2 layers run at once. The polite tour people expect, and the private movie no one paid to watch. I finish a sentence about integration plans and set the glass down clean. Then the room inhales, the soft vacuum before a mic wakes. Applause warms from the front, rolling back. Raymond's taking the stage. The tour is over. The show is about to count heads. Raymond's voice carries, polished oak, steady metronome. Good evening, everyone. The clapping settles, napkins fold, chairs scoot a half-inch closer to yes. He thanks the teams, nods at growth, says the word momentum like it can be bottled. He starts the recognitions. Numbers first, faces next. Finance gets a nod. Ops gets a clean round. Then marketing. A campaign that outperformed. A client landed against the odds. A name attached to the story, Evan Hart. The room gives him the sound every newcomer wants. I watch Sloane clap first and hardest. Full smile, chin high, eyes lit like she personally wired the spotlight. She turns to him, not to the stage, to confirm he's receiving what she's sending. Pride, investment, the little voltage of shared victory. It lands like a knife made of manners. You can't accuse applause. You can only stand there and feel what it's carving. I don't look away. The blade does its work without blood. Just heat in the sternum and a small, precise subtraction from whatever was left. Raymond keeps flowing. Gratitude, future, more to come. The room is warmed up now, happily trained. He changes key. And now, a special introduction. A minor hush spreads across linen and glass. Somewhere back at the marketing tables, Sloane leans toward Evan, saying something small with her mouth and everything loud with her eyes. Raymond smiles for the room that's about to be different than it thinks. Please welcome our new regional director. Raymond shifts gears, voice lower, pace slower. As we expand across the region, the room leans in, silverware stills. Napkins halt mid-fold. He paints the future in neat strokes, then sets down the brush. We brought in someone to lead it. A spotlight loosens from the ceiling and starts its slow hunt. It finds the head table. It finds me. I stand. Applause lifts in layers. Front tables first, then the wave climbs the room, warm and automatic. It isn't frenzy, it's recognition. People clap better when they think they're clapping for themselves. 3 steps to the aisle, 2 to the stairs, 1 to the stage. The mic waits where every voice gets measured. I'm not rushing it. Nights like this have a tempo, and the man who keeps tempo wins. I'm counting things that matter. The weight of my shoes, the lay of the jacket, the distance from truth to microphone. Raymond's smile is the last checkpoint. Merrick Cole, he says, and hands me the room. I take it. Handshake, nod, breath in, eyes up. The light warms my face and cools my pulse. I don't scan yet. I let the silence before words do its work. It tells people who's in charge. Then I look left. Marketing's row, the bright island of chatter and glass. And finally, she turns. The applause crests behind us like a tide. I meet the moment halfway and step into it. She rotates slow, like the air got thicker between us. Color drains from her face in a clean pull, as if someone opened a valve. The champagne flute rattles against the stem. 1, 2, 3 soft taps only she can hear. Evan stops mid-clap, hands freezing in prayer position. Around them, colleagues smile for a reason they don't yet know, then frown at a feeling they can't yet name. I hold her eyes. Nothing theatrical, just present. She tries 3 expressions in a row: polite surprise, quick math, Then the hard swallow of recognition. The last one sticks. Rooms don't go silent all at once. They dim. The applause thins into pockets, the pockets into breath. In that thinning, our marriage shows its bones, the missed lunches, the third-floor rooms, the message that didn't blink away. Someone says, "Wow," as a whisper. A camera phone lifts and thinks better of it. Evan doesn't breathe. He's statuesque in the worst way, pretty from far, useless up close. Sloane's mouth opens, then closes. Two little doors that never learned which way to swing. The glass tilts. She steadies it with both hands like a woman holding a newborn mistake. The spotlight doesn't move. Neither do I. I lower my chin a fraction, enough to tell her this is real life, not rehearsal. Then I turn to the mic. The second breaks. The story begins. "Thank you," I begin. "I'm here for clarity. I keep it plain. What we build, how we measure, where we draw lines. Transparency first, clear expectations, measurable results. We win clean or we don't count it. I talk accountability, who owns what, when it's due, how we fix it without excuses. And professional conduct," I add, letting the words sit. "We represent more than ourselves when we clock in." I pause just long enough to let the room breathe, then let my eyes slide left, one beat, across marketing. Not a stare, a check. I'll meet one-on-one with leads and teams. I want to understand roles, goals, and the frictions you're carrying. We'll address them in daylight. The tone is steady, not sharp, but subtext travels faster than sound. Glasses stop clinking, chairs reset. A few faces in the middle rows trade quick looks, the kind you use when the message under the message lands. I finish clean. "Thank you for the welcome. I'm glad to be here. Let's do it right." Applause returns, respectful, measured. But the marketing row doesn't join right away. It thins there first, then dies altogether. A quiet vacuum you can feel on your skin. I fold my hands at the podium and hold the silence 1 second longer than expected. Control the tempo, own the night. Then I step down into the handshakes, eyes still anchored where the story lives. They come in lines, operations, sales, a board member I've only seen in quarterly decks, firm grips, congrats, small talk with teeth. I answer each, easy cadence, but my gaze keeps sliding back to the left. The anchor holds. At the marketing tables, Sloane lifts a hand to her collarbone, 2 fingers, a touch that's not about jewelry. Evan dabs his forehead with a folded napkin, then pretends he didn't. Their neighbors smile like polite furniture. "Big plans," someone says. "Expansion's overdue." "It helps that I already live here," I say, just loud enough to travel. "My wife works in marketing." The words settle like a level on a board. Bubble center, nothing tilted. Heads turn. Not a snap. More like a slow rotate, curiosity organizing itself. "Nice," the board member says. "Short commute." Exactly. I let it ride 1 beat more, then add, "We live here." Not metaphor, geography, history, consequence. The triangle pencils itself on linen without me drawing it. Across the room, Sloane's smile loses its scaffolding. Evan studies his empty glass like it holds policy. A murmur rises, soft, local weather. HR hears it first. Finance hears it next. It spreads in ripples, then calms. I keep shaking hands until the line thins. Then I excuse myself with a nod that reads like a period. The night doesn't need commentary. It needs direction. I turn toward the left side of the room, toward the island that's been pretending it's the mainland. Time to meet my team, up close. I move toward marketing slow, the way a storm reads the coast. I don't cut a line. I pause where I should, shake a hand here, nod there, trade a sentence about roadmaps and budgets. Each stop is a downbeat. Each step, a drum. They see it coming. You can feel attention gather, like napkins learning to hold their breath. Sloane arranges a smile, careful, bright, just a little too white at the edges. Evan leans back in the chair, ankle on knee, the borrowed posture of a man at ease. The glass in his hand tells a truer story, half-moon smear where his thumb can't find home. Great remarks, someone says as I pass. Thanks, I answer, eyes steady on the island of faces pretending to be furniture. 10 feet, 5, 2. The jazz doesn't change, but everything else does. Shoulders adjust. Conversations trail off mid-noun. You could hear a phone face down vibrate from 3 tables away. I arrive at their table and let the silence make the first introduction. Evening, I say to the group, voice low enough to belong, firm enough to hold the shape of the moment. Smiles bloom, confused and eager. Then I place my hand on the back of a chair and stop moving. No rush, no heat, just presence. The storm is here. Time for the rain to pick a side. I extend my hand toward him. Evan. He stands a half beat late, wipes his palm on his pants like it's habit, and meets me halfway. His grip is damp, careful. Sir, congratulations. Appreciate it, I say. How's the transition treating you? It's been good. Fast. Learning a lot. He glances at Sloane, then returns to my face like a student checking the clock. Fast can blur things, I say, especially boundaries. Work hours versus everything else. You know how lines fade if you don't repaint them. He swallows. Of course, everyone, keeps it professional. Good, I nod. Let's keep it that way. Here's what happens next. I lower my voice just enough to be private within public. In the morning, you'll send HR a 2-week notice, personal reasons, smooth handoff, clean file. His eyes widen, then narrow, a man auditioning for denial and not getting the part. Is that necessary? The other door, I continue, is compliance, room logs, badge swipes, camera angles you forgot exist. It's slower, louder, and leaves a stain you won't wash off with a fresh zip code. He looks past me, but there's nowhere past me to look. The table knows without knowing. Sloane's hand goes to her collarbone again, then stops halfway, as if the gesture itself were evidence. I hold his gaze, not unkind. You're young. Take the quiet exit. He nods once. There's defeat in it, and relief. Good, I say, reclaiming my hand. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Let's keep the brand clean. 2 doors, 1 chosen. Now I turn to the person who thought there weren't doors at all. She smiles like a stage light. Wow, what a surprise. When did you even interview? When do you think? I ask. She blinks. I mean, recently? You didn't tell me. Did you ask? I tilt my head. We still do that? Communicate? She laughs small. Don't be dramatic. Tonight's about work. I'm focused on my review. Your review? I keep my tone even. Which one? Monday's or the imaginary one tonight? Confusion creases, then smooths. We have a quick pre-brief. It's normal. Normal, I repeat. Like telling me Evan joined 3 months ago when it was 4? Her eyes flick, then land. I mentioned it. You didn't. I let each word find its chair. And you said review. She steadies her glass. We're fine. Don't make this. Who scheduled it? I ask. Time. Room. She hesitates. It's fluid. Okay. I nod. I called the front desk. Marketing prep wrapped Monday. Tonight's just the celebration. There it is. The hit without volume. Color crawls up her neck, then retreats. She works her jaw, searching for a version of the truth that can walk in heels. I'm under pressure, she says. I'm under pressure. You know how it is. I do, I answer. Pressure doesn't need lies to breathe. For a second, her eyes harden, the look people use when cornered in stories they wrote. Excuse me, she says, voice thin. Restroom. Take your time, I say, and mean it. The chair behind her is about to matter. She rises too carefully, like dignity is something you balance in a glass. Of course, I say, stepping aside. Her heels tick a clean line across marble. The table watches the way people watch weather, trying to tell if it's passing or arriving. Evan lowers his gaze to the linen, studying the weave like it holds instructions. Someone clear-throats. No one helps. I watch her slip through the buzz and turn the corner out of sight. The space she leaves doesn't fill. It holds. There's a shape to absence when everyone knows the outline. Take your time, I repeat, softer now, and the words settle where the chair is, still warm, angled toward the man who isn't her husband. I pull it back. The sound is small and unforgiving. I sit, not in my spot, in hers. Conversations 2 tables over revive themselves, louder than they need to be. Around us, the jazz keeps doing its job, polite cover for impolite truths. Evan looks up, then down, then up again, blinking like a man surfacing in cold water. Have a seat, I say, though he already has one. Let's use the time. He opens his mouth, closes it. The napkin twists once in his hands, then twice. This is simple, I add, hands folded where hers were. The chair doesn't lie. It remembers who it faces. He nods, once, small. Good, I say. Then let's talk about why you've been sitting this close. The empty hallway behind me leads to a choice she'll have to make. Right now, he makes his. What's the relationship? I ask. Evan blinks. Colleagues. Good, I say. Then this will be easy. I lay down the quiet facts. You arrive within 5 minutes of each other 3 days a week. Lunch within 10. You both run late on the same nights. Calendar blocks that say nothing, mean everything. And the 3rd floor conference room, no invites, no notes, but the badge logs love you. He swallows. The napkin turns in his hands like a screw. Work happens at odd hours, he tries. So does everything else, I say. But one of those belongs in this building. His eyes flick past my shoulder, looking for a rescue that isn't coming back from the hallway. You're reading this wrong, he whispers. I've been doing management 15 years, I tell him, keeping it level. I know the difference between a meeting where ideas move and a meeting where boundaries do. The first leaves a plan, the second leaves perfume. He goes quiet. You can hear air move through him, shallow and thin. Around us, the table sets itself very still. People learn fast when the lesson's close. I'm not here to humiliate you, I add. I'm here to protect my team. That includes you, if you want it. He nods, once, then looks at the doorway like it owes him a favor. It doesn't, I say. But I might. I let the sentence hang, heavy enough to settle. Then I give him the only thing he can use. Here are your options, I say, and the words cool the air. Door 1, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., you email HR, 2 weeks notice, personal reasons, you hand off clean. Your file reads professional. You leave with whatever you came in with, name intact, bridges unburned. He stares at the linen like it could sign for him. Door 2, I continue, is compliance. We pull badge data, room logs, camera angles. We interview, we memorialize. It gets slow, it gets public, and it follows you to your next interview like a shadow with paperwork. His mouth opens, closes, opens. Nothing arrives. The eyes go glassy, the look a man gets when he realizes the hill he chose is smaller than he told himself. He starts. Don't, I say, not unkind. This is me being decent. Take it. Silence expands, tight and exact. The room keeps pretending to be normal. Jazz threads the air like nothing has edges. I give him the last piece, the one that clarifies the stakes. Whatever you think this was, it ends now. No more gray, no more rooms at 9:15. You get the gift of leaving before the wreckage becomes your resume. He nods. Once, then again. Good, I say. Choose. The word lands like a gavel. No echo, just finality. He looks at his hands, empty, and nods a 3rd time. Door 1, he says, voice small. Wise, I answer, standing. Now we speak to the person who thought doors didn't apply. She's at the mirror under bright hotel light, fixing lipstick with a hand that won't hold still. The reflection is braver than the body. I step in. She catches my face in the glass first, then turns, cap clicking shut on a red she doesn't need. How long have you known? She asks. How long have you chosen? I answer. She flinches, then squares up. Don't twist this. I am fighting for my career, for my freedom. I respect freedom, I say. The kind that chooses discipline, not shortcuts. The kind that doesn't need shadows. She tries a laugh. It breaks early. You're overreacting. Late nights, private rooms, stories that move when I touch them. I hold her eyes. You're not under attack, Sloan. You're under review. She looks past me, to the hall, to any exit that isn't a door. You don't get what it's like for women in rooms like this. I do, I say quietly. I hire them. I promote them. I defend them when lazy men diminish their work. I step once closer, just enough to cut the echo. But hear me. Freedom isn't a license to betray. The sentence lands. Her breath goes shallow. The lipstick in her hand becomes evidence, then dead weight. What happens now? She asks, voice thin. Now? I nod toward the mirror. You decide if you want to keep telling the story that breaks us, or speak plainly. She blinks hard. Tears don't fall. The mirror offers no edits. We go back in, I say, and this time, we tell the truth with our faces. I open the door. The hallway waits to hear what we really are. We step into a quieter corner. I keep my voice low, like you do at graves. Remember the first apartment, I say? Peeling paint, bad heat, big plans. We ate noodles and believed we were rich because we had each other and a busted coffee pot that never quit. She looks down. The lipstick cap makes a soft tick against her ring. We built a life like a porch, I go on, board by board. Then somewhere along the years, love learned a new language, metrics. We replaced vows with deliverables, touch points, engagement, retention. She shakes her head. That isn't fair. It's accurate, I say. Dinners turned into networking. Date nights turned into calendar conflicts. I watched you nod at me while listening for a different phone. Her eyes gloss. She bites her lip and finally lets a tear show. I didn't plan this. Nobody plans a leak, I say. They just stop checking the roof. I let the next line be the cut it needs to be. We traded vows for a keycard. She winces like the word hit bone. I thought I could have both. You can have integrity anywhere, I answer. Career and marriage are not enemies, but the way you chased one killed the other. Silence thickens. The hotel hum lives on the edges. I'm not here to humiliate you, I add. I'm done performing happiness. She whispers, Is there anything left to save? There's honesty, I say. Sometimes that's the only rescue. She nods once, small. Then the applause from the ballroom swells again, reminding us what waits. Let's finish the night, I say, steady. Then we finish the truth. She squares her shoulders. You're using power to punish me. No, I say. I'm using standards to protect people who work here. She scoffs. Standards? You cornered Evan? You cornered me. I offered him a clean exit instead of a public autopsy. That's mercy, not muscle. She looks past me, hunting for a version where I'm the villain. I keep it plain. Compliance exists for a reason, not to humiliate, to keep the floor from rotting. You cross lines in private, the whole structure pays. You don't understand what it takes to be seen, she fires back. I do, I say. I also know what it costs when we confuse attention with respect. I let the weight land, word by word. You can chase recognition without breaking vows. You can pursue a title without using people as scaffolding. Her chin lifts. So this is your rule book now? It's the company's, I answer. And mine, because I live by it, with or without the badge. I step closer, not loud, just final. The office is not a place to find romance. Silence. The mirror across the hall throws us both into view. What we chose, what we didn't. I won't drag you through HR headlines, I add, but I will defend the team from the fallout of two people who thought boundaries were optional. She exhales, a thin, breaking sound. The fight in her eyes sees the edge. What happens to me? She asks. That, I say, steady, isn't about power. It's about choice. I'm not firing you, I begin. I don't need to, and I won't use the chair I sit in to settle a marriage. She blinks. Relief tries to stand, then stumbles. Then, what? You resign quietly, I say. Personal reasons. 2 weeks. HR keeps it clean. You start fresh where rumor doesn't set the agenda. Her mouth opens. That makes me look guilty. Staying makes you look cornered, I answer. Whispers last longer than resumes. Every calendar block, every hallway glance becomes a referendum. You won't control the story, it will control you. She wraps her arms around herself, a grip that admits cold. So you are making me leave. I'm giving you the steering wheel, I say. You can drive out with dignity now, or wait until the engine seizes in public. I'm not dictating consequences, I'm describing them. Tears gather but don't fall. What if I refuse? Then compliance does its job. No anger, just process. And once process starts, nobody gets to write a kind ending. She looks at the carpet, the wall, the mirror, any surface that might lend courage. I worked for this. I know, I say, which is why I'm handing you the least damaging door. She swallows, voice small. Why are you being decent? Because I still recognize the woman I married, even if I can't stay with her. I let the final line stand where she can't dodge it. I let you choose. The ballroom applause swells again, like the city reminding us the clock keeps moving. She nods, barely. A decision begins to form in the space between us. In the quiet corridor, I pull out my phone and text Terry Franklin. Need to meet. Monday a.m. Divorce consult. I add 3 lines. Assets clean, no fireworks. House to me. Her car to her. I want the one thing lawyers can't draft. Peace. His reply lands fast. Received. See you Monday. That's the sound of a chapter sealing. I don't write paragraphs. I write decisions. Utilities. Passwords. The account only we used for vacations. Notes to myself to unwind them without theater. No late-night speeches, no how could you, no museum tour of broken scenes. At 48, I've learned endings are better signed than shouted. I picture the house, my chair, my coffee, the morning light that never lied to us. I can keep the roof. She can keep the keys that fit her next door. Let the furniture pick a side by staying put. People want rage because it's loud. But cold clarity is heavier. It sits in your hand and doesn't rattle. I lock the screen. There's nothing left to negotiate with the past. It said what it had to say. I straighten the jacket and touch the ring out of habit, then let my hand fall. Not yet. Not here. One more task requires my full face. I turn back toward the ballroom. The music swells to meet me. I walk in without looking over my shoulder. Rooms reset quickly. Mine just did. I step to the nearest cluster, operations, then sales, and pick up the thread where men live when their private life breaks. Work. We trade names and context. I set first dates for one-on-ones. Next 2 weeks, 30 minutes each. No slides. Tell me what's stuck. Heads nod, shoulders loosen. Hope is cheap, but structure is priceless. I lay out a 90-day spine, clean pipeline, faster approvals, fewer meetings that exist to invent meetings. We'll post targets in daylight, I say. Wins count when they're clean. A manager laughs, relieved. Say that twice. I will, I tell him. Every Monday. I talk less about vision, more about friction, where money stalls, where people stall it, where we rip out rituals no one respects. The words feel simple in my mouth because they are. That's the point. Across the room, someone asks if I'll relocate. No need, I answer. We live here. The echo hits the couple that isn't a couple anymore, but I'm already facing the next task. A junior lead leans in. You've got the room. I don't need the room, I say. I need results. I end a small huddle the way I'll end many. We'll build this right. The sentence lands like a beam finding studs. Applause from another table, a toast I didn't hear. My chest is quiet. The hurt's still there, distant, managed. Work is a clean surface. I set my hands on it. Rooms empty, hallways talk. The chatter doesn't shout. It brushes sleeves. Names spoken half volume, conclusions sketched in pencil. I move through it steady, like a man walking past sprinklers. Let it mist. Don't let it soak. Virginia from HR clocks everything without looking like she is. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, gentler tone. Good night, Merrick, she says, then lowers it a notch. Anything I should be aware of? Just this, I answer. No discipline. Boundary reminder. Her eyebrows say she understands subtext. Documented? In principle, not in headlines. She nods. Clean is kind. By the time I circle back toward the ballroom, Evan has evaporated. No goodbye, just a slipstream where his chair was. Sloane's left early, too. Not feeling well. The sentence hangs in the corridor like a coat no one claims. A couple of faces meet mine with quiet comprehension, the look of people who've done enough life to read outlines. They don't need the nouns. I give the room one last scan and feel the story try to grow teeth. Not tonight. I set its diet, facts only, no blood. Appreciate you all, I tell the last cluster, even and warm. Monday starts clean. Virginia touches my arm. You handled that with spine. Spine is quiet, I say. Loud breaks easy. Outside, the air is honest. I take it in. The car unlocks. The city exhales with me. I drive toward the river and open the window a crack. November cuts the cabin. Good. Bracing. The kind of cold that tells the truth. The radio finds a late jazz station. Brushed snare, a tired trumpet leaning into the hour. It's the music for men who aren't trying to impress anyone. Streetlights turn the water into coins. The L murmurs across steel somewhere behind the buildings. I loosen my grip and let one hand slide off the wheel, palm open, like I'm setting something down I've been carrying too long. The phone sits face down in the console. It vibrates once, calendar junk, then goes still. Friends would take me for a bourbon and a speech. I give myself neither. I don't call a soul. Silence arrives with rules. Breathe. Don't edit. Feel. Don't narrate. I watch my breath fog and clear. Fog and clear. A metronome for a life that just split into before and after. I think about the house at dawn, the light on the table, the coffee that tastes like truth, about keys that will belong to different doors, about how some losses don't roar, they settle, like snow, and change the map anyway. A horn far off, then quiet again. The city and I make a deal. I won't lie to it if it doesn't lie to me. I put the car in drive. Home isn't a place tonight. It's a decision. Morning light makes everything honest. Coffee, inbox, the quiet you earn. First email lands before 8. Subject, resignation, personal reasons. Evan. 2 sentences, trimmed and careful. End date 2 weeks out. Offboarding checklist attached like a white flag. Laptop, badge, client handoffs. HR is CC'd with a polite thank you that reads like a bow from the exit. Virginia replies in minutes. Accepted. Clean, neutral, procedural, no sermons, no salt. I read it once, then again, slower, the way you check a bandage that isn't bleeding anymore. My cursor floats over reply and pauses. There's a speech in me if I want it. Warnings, wisdom, a map he won't follow. I don't open that drawer. Good luck. 2 words. Send. I don't hate him. I don't forgive him. I close the door. That's all. A calendar cancel pops next. Standing meetings he won't be standing in. His name lifts off the week like tape that took paint with it. It leaves a shape, but the wall is still a wall. I finish my coffee and push the laptop away an inch. No victory lap, no replay reels. Closure isn't a roar, it's a click. I breathe in, slow. The house holds steady around the quiet. One more message will come, a heavier one. I can feel its weight moving toward my screen. It lands at 9:23. Subject, resignation. Personal reasons. Same template, different gravity. Effective in 2 weeks. Final day date. Appreciate the opportunities. Request discretion. Every line a room with the lights off. My name isn't in it. Neither is we. The closest it gets to feeling is, thank you for understanding. And even that reads like it was copied from a manual kept under a desk. I stare at the paragraph that used to be our life and realize there's no plural pronoun anywhere. Not a stray us, not a single together. Language tells on you. I forward to HR with a single line, process per standard, no flourishes. Virginia answers, received. The machine does what machines do. Intake, root, resolve. I hover over the keyboard, thinking of all the versions I could send. The long post-mortem, the clean goodbye, the one that tries to rescue what doesn't want saving. I type none of them. There's a place grief goes when it can't speak. It goes quiet, packs itself small, and waits for work to finish. I let it. I close her email and the room doesn't change. The clock keeps its pace. The heat vents breathe. Somewhere outside, a delivery truck beeps a steady reverse. No we in the message. No we in the plan. I open my calendar and make space for the life that starts after signatures. 3 weeks changes more than calendars. The team is tighter, meetings shorter, decisions faster. We cut the busy work that pretends to be work. People notice when their day stops fighting them. The roadmap pulls ahead of itself. Deadlines we used to chase now jog behind us. Sales sends numbers with a grin in the subject line. Ops emails are shorter because problems are. A junior PM who never talked starts asking the right questions at the right time. You can feel a room stand up straighter when it believes its own hands again. Virginia gives me the small smile HR saves for nights that didn't become headlines. Cleaner, she says. It is. Raymond stops by unannounced, looks at the board, nods once. Good trajectory. He doesn't clap. He doesn't need to. By month's end, the KPI screen throws a color I like, deep green bars where yellow used to hover and nag, ahead of schedule. The words sit there without ceremony, the way sunrise doesn't ask for applause. There's no parade, no champagne. We just breathe better. The team laughs in normal volume. The Slack channel sounds like a workplace, not an alibi machine. I walk the floor and feel the hum I wanted. Not frantic, not bored, capable. Progress is quiet on purpose. It teaches you to listen forward. And when the office exhales, you finally hear what home still isn't saying. I unlock the door, and the house answers with its usual honesty. The closet hangs lighter on one side, 2 empty inches of rod that remember a shape. Hangers breathe where dresses used to crowd. It's a small weather change only the person who lives here can feel. Frames sit face down on the hallway table, not angry, just done. The sofa keeps an extra cushion's worth of space between what was and what is. The refrigerator sounds louder at night when no other voices try to win the air. I open a cabinet and there it is. Her favorite mug, chipped lip, silly quote I used to roll my eyes at. It's clean. It's waiting for an order that won't come. I hold it the way you hold a word you can't use anymore. You don't purge a life in one run to the curb. You retire it, shelf by shelf. I pull a flat box from the closet, the one that smells faintly of cardboard and goodbyes. The mug goes in with a soft clink that finds the part of your chest you don't show anyone. I add a scarf she forgot, a charger she won't ask about, a key that doesn't know it's out of work. The house doesn't change its mind, neither do I. I close the box, set it by the door, and sit with the noise the fridge makes. Healing isn't victory music, it's work. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is put the cup away and leave it there. The schedule packs itself tight. Breakfast with ops, lunch with sales, late call with the coast. A keynote invite lands. Share your leadership journey. LinkedIn pings like hail on a tin roof. New connections, old acquaintances, strangers with perfect teeth. The inbox does its parade. Congrats with exclamation points, handshakes typed in Helvetica, praise that smells like perfume on paper. Nights run longer, not because the work needs it, because quiet does. I sit with a laptop glow and a city glow and tell myself one can outrun the other. It can't. I stand in the kitchen at midnight and say it out loud so it stops owning me. Success can't fill the hole. Titles are scaffolding. They hold you up. They don't hold you together. Applause is a weather pattern. Loud, brief, already somewhere else by the time you lift your head. The team's humming. The numbers are green. The machine likes me. Good. Keep it clean. Keep it moving. But when the door closes, the house tells the truth. 2 inches of empty closet rod have more courage than most emails. In the morning, I'll shake hands and mean it. But tonight I admit the debt. I traded noise for meaning and came up short. So I mark a new line on the inside. No chasing validation like it's oxygen. I'll breathe on my own, or I won't breathe at all. I walk the river path before sunrise, breath showing up like receipts. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. The math of staying here. The city hasn't put on its face yet. Good. Neither have I. I call an old friend I've neglected. The kind of man who answers without loading advice. We talk about nothing important and everything that is. Tires, weather, the way a good cup of coffee fixes one thing it never gets credit for. The call ends without ceremony. That's how you know it mattered. Back home, I book therapy. Not because I'm broken, because I refuse to stay that way if I am. Tuesday, 10 a.m. I add it to the calendar like a meeting you don't cancel. I open a window to cold air and let the silence in. Not the punishing kind, the honest kind. I make eggs, wash the pan, wipe the counter until it stops pretending to be yesterday. There are messages I won't send and speeches I won't deliver. Peace isn't in them. It's here. A slow walk, a clean room, a promise kept to myself. I say it once, just for me. I survived, on reason and self-respect. The day answers by starting anyway. One chapter remains. The plain truth for anyone listening. People tell you who they are in small ways first. The perfume that isn't yours, the rooms that don't leave notes, the eyes that skim past you and land somewhere warmer. Believe them. They tell you again in bigger ways. The lie that asks for your silence, the applause pointed at the wrong man, the story that needs a dark hallway to breathe. Believe that too. If someone chooses status over the person who kept the lights on, let that be the truth. Don't bargain with it. Don't audition for a part in their revision. Standards aren't cruelty. They're shelter. Draw the line, keep the job clean. Keep your name clean. Keep your hands steady even when your chest isn't. Home isn't a street address. It's the rules you live by when nobody claps. It's the silence that stands up straight. It's the choice to walk past noise and into a life that doesn't require you to shrink. So here it is, plain and final. When they choose ambition over you, choose your life over them. Choose clarity. Choose distance. Choose mornings that don't lie. I started with stay home. I end with this. I am Merrick Cole. I choose to move on. If this stayed with you, say your piece below, then go choose something that respects you back.